Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritualite, and we're here for another lesson. I was trying to make the point yesterday about the difference between harvesting the energy and harnessing the energy, and I realized, or I said I was going to do a little bit more of an in-depth thing on this, and woo boy, is there a lot there. So let's just get started. So I first started in our etymology dictionary and with the word harvest. And here, as you can see, it says it refers to autumn, to harvest, uh, to harvest, whence ear conjectures that all the forms, whatever, are Latin and are further corrupted by creeping of an R. So I have a feeling that it's supposed to be havest or have. But so anyway, this particular definition wasn't the most useful and trying to make the point about harvesting versus harnessing. So I went to the dictionary, and the dictionary had this direct definition. This is the second definition. The first one was even worse. So we have to gather in a crop, to gather, catch, hunt, or kill for human use, sport, or population control, to remove or extract something from culture or from living or recently deceased body, to accumulate or store, or the last one, to win by achievement. And I thought the best definition for the point I was trying to make was to remove or extract. So I was like, well, this is still not really going to give you the full understanding of what I really mean when I say harvest. So I said, let's look at the synonyms, right? So the synonyms of harvest, to catch or collect a crop or natural resource for human use. So the synonyms are gather, pick, and reap. Well, reap, I knew the word reap. I knew that was all over the Bible in a lot of different places because when I looked up harvest in the Bible, I didn't really get like an explanation of how you're supposed to harvest something. It just tells you to do it, right? All over the Bible is telling you to harvest, 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 but it doesn't tell you how to harvest. But there is um some information about reaping. So let's go back to the etymology dictionary. What does reap mean? So in the etymology dictionary, um to pluck, this is all the way down in the middle of the page, to pluck or to gather, like an ear of corn or a bundle of twigs or a bunch of grapes, to literally go and get it, right? This is what this is reap. So this brought to mind after a search through the the app, the Bible app, to see where the word reap was used. It brought something to mind, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But you will know exactly what's going on when I read this. This is Luke chapter 17. I'm sorry I forgot to put it on here, but you will be able to find it. This is Luke chapter 17, verse 11. And this is the parable of the Meanest. And when you hear the story, you will remember it and recognize it immediately. And then you will immediately know what harvesting means. And it will be forever etched in your brain. So I'm going to read this. As they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of God should immediately appear. Okay, now, mind you, this is us. We think that the kingdom of God should immediately appear. Like, we're just, everybody is like, I'm ready. Let's just do this. It's just too much. We should. So, these people hearing this parable is us hearing this parable right now. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom, and to return. And he called his 10 servants, and delivered them £10, and said unto them, Occupy till I come. But his citizens hated him, and sent a message after him, saying, We will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass, when he returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. This is why I love Luke. Oh my gosh. Okay. The first came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained £10. Then he said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have the authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, Be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept and laid up in a napkin. For I fear thee, because thou art an austere man, thou takest up that thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest what thou didn't sow. And he said unto them, Out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest I was an austere man, taking up what I did not down, and reaping what I did not sow. Wherefore, when then, wherefore then gavest thou not my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury or interest? And then he said unto them that stood by, Take that from him the pound, and give it to him that hath 10 pounds. And they said unto him, Lord, he hath 10 pounds. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he has shall be taken away from him. Let me say it again. For I say unto you, children of the light, that unto everyone which hath shall be given, that unto everyone which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. Okay, so let me break this down a little bit. Um so that you can apply it to harvesting, right? So in this parable, you can see that the this is the parable of the talents, okay? In other whatever apostles, they call it the parable of the talents. And you may have heard it as the parable of talents, but remember, Luke is my favorite gospel, because he's a doctor, and he's very, very specific in the way that he tells the stories. He puts in a lot of details that the others leave out, because the others don't find them to be valuable. But the doctor, he remembers the details. He knows the details are important. And so the part about this story is that, even though, first of all, the people hated the man, they weren't expecting this man to do anything for them. They hated him. They said, we don't want to work under him, anything like that, right? So again, that is the children of the light. We hate his instruction. We hate reproval. We don't ever want to be told what to do or how to do it. And when people try and say, look, maybe look into this astrology thing, maybe we should just take a look at this Vodun, or whatever. Let's just take a look at it. No, what did the children do? No, we hate this stuff. We hate these people. You know, curses be upon them, right? So even in the hate, the man gives them, he has given them these talents. Everyone has, they call them pounds in here. Obviously, that's British, but everyone has their talents. So even though they hated it, they hated the man, they didn't want to serve under him. They feared this man, right? Just like we fear the Most High. We just. So he gives us these talents, these minas, and what happens? Well, you have one person who's been given a talent, one talent. There's 10 servants. Each of them have been given one. So one servant took his talent, took his mina, and turned it into 10. And when the man returned, when the kingdom was given, was at nigh, that person was given 10 cities to rule over. And one person took their five and turned it into one and turned it into five. Well, that person was given 5 cities to rule over. Now, there was another person who knew that the man was gone. He knew that he reaped what he did not sow. He knew that this man was a horrible man to be up under. And instead of doing something with the talent, the one thing that he had been given, he took it and he hid it. He said, I'm not doing nothing with this. I ain't touching it. That book is scary. Parsley is the devil. I'm not doing anything with any of this stuff, right? And what did he do when he came back? He said, You knew the type of person that I was. And the Most High says to us, you know what type of God I am. I want to see you do something with what you've been given. And what do? You do nothing. You do nothing. You sit back and you do nothing. And guess what? That one that he was given was taken to him. So when you think about harvesting, you take the one thing that you were given, if it's a bad hour, if it's a bad day, if it's a bad something, you know that it's not good. You fear the person who gave it to you. You're concerned that you're not going to be able to do anything with it. You still take the one. You take the one that you've been given and you do something with it, even if you just turn it from one to two. You notice how in this story it was 10 servants and only three of the servants were mentioned. That means the other ones, let's see, only 20% of the investors were successful. The first one that was given one and made 10, the second one that was given one and made five. The rest of them were given one. That's seven people. That's eight people who were given one. And maybe they just turned their one to two. Maybe they turned their one to one and a half. Maybe they went and put it in the bank so they could get interest. You don't know what they did, but they did something with their one that they were not treated as the one as the last one, the 1/10 of the people who were given the one, and and did nothing. So again, again, this is just, imagine if, let's take the one guy out of it, right? So now we have nine. Two-thirds of the people, they take what they have, they do something with it. They're not great. They do something, right? They do something and equate that with the two-thirds in your life. Then you have the one-third in your life. They take what they've been given and they do, everybody doesn't do the same. One of the one-third did a lot, double that of another one of the one-third, but they still did more than the two-thirds. So, not to turn this into a math lesson, but just remember, you've been given something. You want to try to multiply it by 10 if you can. So if you know you have a bad day today, the energy is really bad, or what, or is this is harvesting, the energy is really bad, you want to at least take your one, at least be like the two-thirds who took their one and did something more than one with it. They turned it into two, they turned it into one and a half, they whatever, they did something more than one with it. At least be like the two-thirds. If you can't take the bad energy and harvest it and do turn it into 10 or turn it into 5 or whatever, just at least do like the two-thirds, and the master will leave you alone. The master will understand that you did the best that you could. But there's a lot of people out here who are like the 1/10 guy, the bottom of the barrel, who said, okay, I have this thing, I came on this planet with these talents, with these skills, with these passions, I'm going to leave right out knowing that only I know that I had these passions and talents and skills. And that is unacceptable to the master. And then look, to the rest of the people, the verse 27, the enemies, the ones who said that they shouldn't reign over him, he just killed them. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, the citizens. Okay. So the citizens, this would be the Gentiles who said they didn't want to do anything with the Most High. He just killed them. Boom, they're gone. They're not even a part of this story. Now, he didn't kill the 1/10 guy. He just took it away from him, and that was it. But the rest of the people, the ones who said they would not serve the master, man, they was gone. So this is why you don't want the kingdom to come right now, because if you can't take a bad day, if you can't take a piece of parsley and turn it into 10 and turn it into 5, you're not even in the top third. You still struggling down here with the two-thirds. You're not better than a two-third. And I'm not saying that saying I'm better, or I'm not saying about myself, because I'm way down with the two-thirds too. I'm just barely above what the 1/10 guy did. I may take mine and turn it into 1.1%. I'm not doing great. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is we need to be striving to be like the servant of the master who took the one and turned it into 10, or took the one and turned it into the 5, because that's what we're going to be given. It's not just treasures in heaven, it's treasures on earth too. But we have to be able to take our one and turn it into 5. or take our one and turn it into 10. That's the harvesting. Everybody's given something. We're given a day, even if it's a bad day, even if it's bad energy, whatever it is, we're given the day. We need to be able to take that day and at the very least, turn the one into two. Whatever you're given for that day, take that day, turn the one into two. If, at the very least, really, we should be able to take the one by now, take any bad situation, and turn it around and multiply it into 10. We should be there. We should be like the top one third of the servants right now. And right now, we are not. We're at like, so if the whole nation of Israel is the nine servants or the 10 servants. You have 1/10 of the whole nation of Israel who are just going to be, their stuff is going to be taken from them. They're just going to have to be at the total mercy of the 9/10. But the rest of the nine people, are you stuck in the 2/3 portion, or are you trying to get to the 1/3 of the nine? I mean, we talk about 2/3 a lot. This should really resonate with you. So if you're not taking your one and turning into five and turning into 10, you are no better than the 2/3 on the street. And the 2/3 on the street, you have half of them that are doing something. Hey, they're making the most of a bad situation every day. If you are not making the most of a bad situation every single day, you are no better than the 2/3 that you talk about. So hopefully this tells you what harvesting means. It means taking the bad energy, taking the bad situation you're in, turn it from a 1 to a 10. That's the harvesting. All right, so let's look at harness. I think that made the point. So again, we went to the etymology dictionary and we looked up harness. So harness, it says equipment, munition. Let me see, the one that was useful, armor of defense. That was the only, to provide, furnish, or equip. Harness, to provide, furnish, or equip. Okay, that was the most useful thing. Again, this is not really a great definition. So we went to, what is this? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, let me go. I'll go back to that. Let's go to harness. We looked it up in the dictionary. So harness, we have the equipment other than yoke of an animal. The usefulness of this definition wasn't useful at all. Close association, no, that's not harness. Something that resembles a harness, that wasn't helpful. But if you look down here in the second definition, you have utilize. Utilize. So harness means to utilize. Well, what does that mean? Back to here. If you look, use is the very it's at the very bottom of the page. To use, employed in legal instruments, is the same sense of profit benefit, which is not to be confounded with use from usury, not the same as usury. So scratch that usury out, right? The word in the former sense is from Latin, which is to need, or like I said, utilize. So this is a little bit more helpful. Well, of course, there's lots of things in the Bible. Okay, well, let's look at the thesaurus, right? So this is where I was able to find something that we could use, which was use. Use were out there at the end. I already read the definition of use. These slides got out of order, so forgive me, but we already read the definition of use. It's the bottom of the page here, the very last one, which is need. All right, so this is what I found, and I think that this will make sense to you guys. Um, so this is First Corinthians 7:19 through 21. Again, circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but keeping of the commandments of God. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he is called. Art thou called being a servant? Care not for it. But if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. For he that is called in the Lord being a servant is the Lord's freeman. Likewise also he that is called being free is Christ's servant. Ye are bought with a price. Be ye not the servants of men. Brethren, let every man wherein he is called therein abide with God. Of course, he who dwells under the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. That's that's Psalms 91 verse 1. But the point I'm trying to make with this particular scripture is that use it rather. If thou mayest be free, use it rather. Meaning, When you're trying to harness energy, you use what's out there, even if it's given to you freely. It's good energy. You want to use it. You want to use it for your needs, because again, we have back here in the definition of harness, to utilize, harness the computer's potential. You want to use it for your needs. When you utilize something for its potential, you use it to help you. You use it to assist you. It is good energy that's put out there. Rather, when you harvest something, it's something that someone else did, that's been given to you, that you can use or not use, like the talents. Do you use the talents or you don't use the talents? That's the difference between harvesting and harnessing. When you are given something, which everybody is given something, that's what the talents say. Everybody is giving something. When you are given the talent, or the talent, everybody's given something. When you have the talent that's given on the bad day, are you harvesting that talent, meaning sowing it, putting it out there so that you can get something from it? You're going and doing some sort of work with it so that you can get something from it. Whereas when you harness something, that's something that's been given to you. So when it's given to you, are you still going out there and using it? The point of the matter is you can use it, good or bad, whatever it comes from. You have to use it though. It requires you to perform a process. We talk a lot with our night readings about alchemy. You have to use it. That's the taking of one thing and turning it into something else. Remember, if you are a slave, then in the Most High will make you free. But if you're already free, then you become a slave to the Christ, the office of the Christ, really. But let's just, for lack of a better way to describe it, you become a slave to the Most High. So if which means you still have to do His work. And what's the difference between free and the Most High, or the Most High slave? Really, there's no difference, except in the way that you perceive it. Meaning, if you are coming from a position of harvesting and you become free from the Most High, then that means you're free to use all the energy however you're going to use it. However, if you're already free, you've already, your freedom has been bought and paid with a cost, then you become a slave to the Most High. You have to do the will of the Most High. You're required to take the energy and take that one talent and turn it into 10. You should not be like the two-thirds. So I hope this was actually helpful about harvesting versus harnessing. I know that I will always now equate harvesting with the 1/10 of people who will just have everything taken away from them because they won't do something with what they're giving. And for harnessing, I will equate that with the people who, when they're given something, they want to give it back because it's not exactly what they asked for. You harness, you take what you're given, you say all praises to the Most High, and you do something with it. You use it, you utilize it, you put it to work. Well, you put in the energy to work, good and bad. That's the whole thing. You cannot be afraid of the bad energy, and you cannot be afraid of the good energy, because that means you have to put the work. No matter what, you got to put the work in one way or another. Whether you're harvesting or harnessing, it requires you to put in the work. The difference is your mindset about it, and just understanding what you need to come out with in the end. So again, of course, to the spirits who are here with us, you are invited to go in peace. My beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace, and always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom, everyone.